This is Brad with RPM Research. I've had the question asked so many times, how do I change my resume? How do I update my resume? How do I focus my resume? So I wanted to provide at least a resource for individuals trying to take their resume up to that next level. So let's start earlier, way before your resume, because we're forward looking now. What I want to talk to you about is something called a keystone resume. And that keystone resume is the resume of which other resumes are built. So, Brad, I have to, create a new resume for every job position that I have. Well, if you want to increase your chances and odds, make yourself more relevant, add more relevant information in there. There is not a one resume that is perfect for everything. It's like there's not a job description that's perfect for everything. So you need to adapt and you need to be able to change. Now, this keystone resume, one of the precursors to that, can be a professional journal. So as you're moving forward with your career, there's a journal. You write in it. As you start different projects, you start from what am I going to do? What do I assume is going to happen? What is the plan? As you move forward and hit different milestones and successes, write those down. And then at the end of the project, what ended up happening? What were your assumptions and what was your impact? And that's find a handwrite, you can type, whatever you'd like to do. Once you're able to get that into more of a digest format, put that into your keystone resume. Your keystone resume, stop with the one page. This is a base that you're going to put into a different template. Don't overcomplicate the formatting. No creative resumes. Creative resumes are going to get locked up in ATSs, and the information that you work so hard to put in your resume is not going to get seen by anybody. Hopefully people will actually take a look at your resume, but oftentimes you do have machines and programs looking at it. So let's maximize your success. And so the keystone resume can be 12 pages long if you want. It can talk about every little single opportunity that you had, every project that you had, every success that you had. Now, this is not the resume you send to a hiring manager. This is not the resume you send to a recruiter, I guess, unless asked. This is the resume that you cut and you paste the relevant portions of your background to what they're looking for, as evidenced by the job description. So when you read the job description, well, I have experience with those things. The common thought is, I'll be able to talk about it on the interview. I'll submit my resume and they'll just see me shining through, and I'll have a chance to explain later. The point and purpose of a resume is sort of a lock and key. The resume is the key to the conversation. Very few people, if any, have ever been hired sight unseen purely by a resume. So the goal of your resume is to start the conversation. And you start the conversation by being relevant to the problem. And what is the problem? An open job. And you have three things that, could be one, could be two, could be three things that people are looking for. And I don't care whether you're working at McDonald's flipping hamburgers or whether you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. They are looking to bring somebody in to save or create time, save or create money, or improve process. And you need to be able to figure out from the job description what they are trying to do, where those gaps are, and how you can fill those gaps. That's where you're going to be the most relevant. The most relevant candidate can get the call, can get the first initial interview. Once we go to interviews, the goal of the first interview is not to get the job. The goal of the first interview is to find out more information, see if this is a good fit, make a play for your candidacy, and then get to the next conversation. So it doesn't matter, and you should not be trying to get the job, but you should close for next steps on the next conversation. So try it out, look at your resume, and look at your bullet points. on there. Those bullet points should show, once again, how you save time, save money, and improve process. If there was a metric involved in that, I, increased XYZ by 10%. I reduced XYZ by 10%. I was able to create and free up time. I was able to take on this new process or this new initiative. Those are the things that should be in your resume. It absolutely should not be a regurgitation of the job description that you previously had. That needs to be thrown out. If they're in the same industry and they're looking at the title, they may have a pretty decent idea as to what you were doing from a baseline perspective. So expand on that. Why were you valuable in your role? What did you contribute? And make sure that you're balancing what you did versus what we did. And there should be a balance there. Somebody that says, I did everything, I did, that's going to call into question, is this person a team player? Conversely, if it is we did, then, all of it, then it is going to come across as, can this person stand on their own, or was it their team only that made the accomplishments? So find that balance. Find those metrics, find out what's important. Listen, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Email with me, and we'll take it from there. So thanks. This is Brad with RPM Research. Have a great one.